Hey everybody, quick update. I took off the back bumper and I think I like it. Now, previously, before I ever started recording, I deleted the spare tire well. So now the car really has a Group B, Group 5 look starting to square up, which I love. I'm not sure if I caught it on camera, but I also blacked out the taillights. I think they're more the style now. I'm gonna have to relocate the exhaust to the other side because Toyota Supras have exhaust on the left, and I was looking under the car now that I've deleted the standard muffler. It's actually shorter and lighter weight to run the exhaust through the left because that's where the exhaust runs. I think that they use the Cadillac muffler on this car from the factory, and that's why it hops over. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of sanding down and bondoing. I really don't like using filler, so I took a hammer and dolly before I coated this, and I tried to hammer and dolly out everything and get it like super smooth feeling to where there's like no waves in the metal. I was learning how to weld sheet metal on this project, which I thought I could at least weld good enough to put this together, but it turns out my techniques were for, like, you know, farmer style welding. You have a certain technique that's required for sheet metal, and the goal is not to accumulate heat. The shrinkage on the thin metal causes warping and highs and lows, and it just makes it very difficult to work with. The trick is you set a couple beads down as far as possible and start cutting the space in half till you got 1-inch spaces, and then you stack off of those and let the metal cool. Go do something. Go hang out with your kid, go fold some laundry, go do something. Come back and go do it again. And the more welds you got, the quicker you can work and the less time you have to wait, because you get a lot of thermal conductivity from the connection. And pretty much what that just means is the two metals are now sharing mass, and it's acting like more thermal battery. But when they're not touching and you're doing the first few welds, take your time, guys. And, you know, set your amps super low. I think I ran them at like 20 or 30 amps and 17 volts, and I just clicked it. You know, if the first few welds were just a click, just to hold it in place and stop it from walking. But I'll give the whole view of the car so far. I think it's starting to come out, and the vision is starting to show. I do like that gray more, so I'm gonna get rid of that blue gray, and probably the protective coating is gonna be that color in the meantime. I gotta fix that fender liner. Y'all don't clown me yet. I've been trying to do the template for the bottom front bumper and the front fascia, but it's a really hard creative writer's block for me. And to get that is kind of a challenge for me right now. And that's something that I need to get past and just stay creative and stay on point. Because I'm like, I don't want to mess up the angle. It's got a certain bow to it, and if I don't mirror it just right, it's gonna come out looking goofy. It must be almost 90 degrees again. But here's today's project. I'm doing the same to the driver's side that I did to the passenger side. Now what I did was I just did that same welding technique here, where I started off and I just had just a couple tacks. And then I would shrink the space between the tacks in half and half and half until I had about 1 inch between them. And that took around 2 or 3 passes lightly without warping the metal. And I feel like this side came out so much smoother. These two, I flushed them up much better. I didn't realize the trick of this is lining up the panels super flush, and keeping it flush. You may have to hammer it a little here and there as you're welding if you rushed it too, so, you know, don't feel bad if you have to realign it after you started. That was all off alignment. I miscut it, but I filled it with weld, and you know what? No one's gonna notice. Except you guys. But y'all ain't gonna tell nobody, are you? Welded the second panel down here. I felt like on this side is much more like a smooth transition. I'm not sure if y'all can see that, but it's gonna look like it's one good panel, I think, when we're done. I'm gonna try to really match the curve of this fender that we did, like this edge and this radius. I'm gonna try to add that radius there. So that may be difficult. I may have to come back, and if I grind too deep in, I may have to come back and hit some welds like I did the other side. And if I do that, I'll try to get it on camera.